Good afternoon, madam. Here it is good afternoon in India. There it is good, very good morning.
How is your day?
Yes, day is very nice. Here it is 4 in the evening, afternoon, 4 o'clock.
I'm
He
in
was still recently in USA. He just returned to India.
I'm in Ahmedabad.
Uh-huh.
He's in Ahmedabad now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was,
I just had my chai.
okay. My daughter and her family was there in Buffalo, New York, near Niagara.
Oh wow. Wow. Are they still there?
I was there up to December. December 1st, I left to India.
How did you enjoy?
Oh, I enjoyed very much.
Oh, good. Good. How is the Niagara Falls?
Very nice. So very near to my daughter's home, near Buffalo University.
Wow. How long were you there?
I was there for 6 months. This is the 4th time I was visiting. I am visiting.
Did you see the Statue of Liberty?
Yes. Last time. Not this time, last time.
I'm happy that you had a good trip and that you enjoyed my country.
Oh, I enjoyed. I loved it.
Friends,
Okay.
we will start this session. It is my great pleasure to invite all of you to the international dialogue on a very interesting theme, securing sustainable water sources and grassroots development in rural Africa. As all of you know, this program is a part of International Fellowship Program on Nonviolence and Peace, organized by Sevagram Ashram Pratishthan Warda, Maharashtra, India, in association with Gandhi International France, Academic University College for Nonviolence and Human Rights, Lebanon, Mahatma Gandhi Mission University, Aurangabad, Maharashtra, India. Today, in our midst, we have a very interesting personality, Miss Heather C. Cumming. As we have shared her brief biodata, I hope all of you are familiar with her work and her contributions in Africa. She is currently serving as the director of SSAAP, that is Simvachala Sustainable Agriculture and Arts Program. And in fact, she was the founder of SSAAP. Even though its headquarters is in USA, their main work is in Zambia and also Sierra Leone. She was born in USA in the year 1977, and she is a US citizen. But she lived her life in Zambia since 2004, and she is also a citizen of Zambia. If you are looking at her life, she has been spending her time two-thirds in Africa, mainly in Zambia and Sierra Leone, where she had familiar relationship, and she considered it as her home. She had her education in USA, UK, and in India at the Gujarat Vidyapeeth, specializing in nonviolence and Gandhian philosophy. I will not take much of your time introducing the guest speaker. I was amazed after reading her work and the work of her organization. I have not shared all the documents with all of you. If anyone is interested, we will be happy to share with all of you. She began her work as a peace volunteer. Later, there was no looking back. She dedicated her life for the cause of rural people in Africa. She described herself as a simple person. While writing to me, she wrote to me that the Gandhi's ashram, the hut which Gandhi lived, looks like my hut in Africa. That makes her a unique individual and a person who have identified with the people of Africa. And she titled her presentation, in fact, Water is Gold. That was the original title she had given for her presentation. This shows her commitment for providing sustainable water sources for the poor and downtrodden people in Africa and improving their life through engaging in various activities aimed at developing their life and living. It is a matter of great pleasure for us inviting to this August meeting, and we have many friends from Africa, and I thought it would be quite appropriate that we have Heather C. Cumming as a guest speaker, speaking on the situation, the plight of people, and sharing the experience in the rural development field by none other than a person who is engaged in their midst, who is working in the field. This program is chaired and moderated by Professor Premanand Mishra, who is currently serving as the Dean of Faculty of Gandhian Studies, Gujarat Vidyapeeth. He is one of the key facilitators of this fellowship program, along with Professor John Cheladure and myself. And Professor John Cheladure, Dean Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Mahatma Gandhi Mission, is in our midst. I noted that few persons other than the members of the fellowship program also joined this program. I welcome all of them to this program, And Professor Premanand Mishra, as a teacher and a mentor of Hither Cumming, would be able to tell more about her. Now I request Professor Premanand Mishra to chair and moderate this August meeting. Thanks once again, Madam, for accepting our invitation and spending your time while you are in India. Thank you so much, Mrs. Heather, for joining in this August meeting. And it is a matter of great pleasure and privilege to listen to you in this August meeting. A person who is having experience of America and African countries can do justice to the subject. I request Professor Premanand Mishra to moderate this session and continue the proceedings. Thank you so much. Thanks once again. Professor Premanand.
Prof.
Thank you. As Dr. CB has mentioned that this is a wonderful moment that one of our students of this Gujarat Vidyapeeth Nonviolence course is going to speak on some of the very important themes that is very crucial nowadays about the sustainability. But of course, this is not a theoretical, but rather a very action-oriented person, none other than by Heather. So I don't want to take too much time. I request Professor CB to share his work, her work, whatever, newsletters and other things to the participants. So personally, they may contact with Heather when they want to talk or discuss or to follow what she has been doing. So we are really very happy, and personally I feel proud that one of my students from 2019-20 batch is here to address all of us what she has been working. Thank you very much, Heather and CB, and we would like to listen you what you have been doing for a long time. Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Professor Premanand. It will be our pleasure to share the materials and the recent newsletter in our group for the benefit of our fellows. Thank you.
So please, Heather, you unmute and then begin. Unmute. Yes, thank you.
Yes, yes. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes,
We
yes,
are
yes.
all
Perfect.
hearing you.
Good.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, you
good.
are very well audible.
Good. There's
Very
too
audible.
much noise on the streets. No, I've been honored to present since Dr. Mishra invited me 2 days ago. And it's always a good opportunity to engage, especially with like-minded people, just because that way we can learn from each other and share ideas and grow, and you can help me in my work, and maybe I can help you in yours, and that's how we develop. As a humanity, that's how we develop, is by sharing with each other. I'll briefly explain how I came to live in a remote African village, because you can't just up in the African village from the United States. The transition is a bit rough. When I was 24 years old, I was invited by the United States Peace Corps, which is a group, an organization started by our late President John F. Kennedy. I believe he started the organization in 1967, 64, 65. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact year. But John F. Kennedy was very close friends at that time with the president of the Republic of Ghana. And what he wanted, due to his friendship with the president of Ghana, is he wanted to create relationships among Americans with people living in remote areas in countries in the world that wanted to have a relationship with an American volunteer or with the United States in general. So in 2004, I was invited to serve in a very, very remote village in Zambia. My fellow Africans on this call know their geography, but for those of you who do not, I've met many Indians that don't know where my two countries are. Zambia with a Z, not the Gambia. Zambia is north of Zimbabwe, east of Angola and Namibia, west of Mozambique and Malawi, south of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Tanzania, and north of Zimbabwe. We're at the very bottom of Africa. And as we say in Zambia, we are a stone's throw away from South Africa. 2.5 hours on the airplane is all. So that is my original home in Africa is in Zambia. And I was sent there as a volunteer in 2004. There were 13 other Americans in my group. We had a 2-year, 3-month contract with the United States government to do this service work, live in remote villages, work with an education program, doing a secondary project with HIV. And when the 2 years got closer to ending, I found that I had just started. And the other volunteers were very, very happy to leave. They were tired of Africa, no good electricity in the town, in the village, which we call the bush, no light ever. In those days, people didn't have mobile phones. We didn't have solar much, if at all. And the other volunteers were just fed up, like they were ready to go home and maybe get a graduate degree, work for the State Department. And I felt it wasn't right that I would leave. And I felt, like I said, my time was just beginning, because 2 years in Africa is like 2 weeks in the United States. You can't get very much accomplished in Africa in 2 years. So I had just felt settled in. I learned how to take water on my head. At that time, my village didn't even have a water well. We were fetching water from a river that in the dry season, which in Zambia, the rainy season is November to March or April. And the cold season, and it gets very cold, is April, May until August, middle of August. Then half August, September, October, November, before the rain comes, is very dry, very hot. And so during those months, I would watch the people in the village struggle and suffer without water. And I would suffer with them, because that's what happens when you live with people. And that's the difference between staying with people, working with the people that you stay with, having that relationship, instead of meeting them online or meeting them through a WhatsApp phone or email. Africa is very raw. It's very human-based contact, human to human, because we don't have all that technology. And as you all know, technology helps us, but if we're not careful, it spoils us, and it also ruins us if we're not wise with it. And so in Africa, I'm talking more about the rural areas because that's my experience. We don't have the benefit of the technology to become spoiled with all of these things. And so we live together intimately. I always say everyone knows just a little too much about each other. It's hard to have secrets in a village. And so I finished my service with the United States Peace Corps, and I left crying. I didn't want to leave. US, this was in 2007. I think I stayed maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months. I took care of my grandmother who was very sick. And then I moved to Nepal to teach in Kathmandu, in Bhaktapur, and also in Lower Mustang. I taught in a very remote village. It was hard for me to go back to my country because I was used to rural life, and I missed it with my whole heart because I love nature and I love living with trees and earth and stars in the sky. And it was very hard for me to go back to the US with light pollution, and everyone is too busy to be human. And around the year 2008, people from my village in Zambia were writing me letters and asking me if I could please come and help them for the rest of their life and my life. And they sold 3 cows to raise the money that they sent on Western Union for me to purchase my air ticket. So my is very
sorry, Miss Heather, we lost you there.
Where did you lose
Heather,
me?
We lost the Western Union. They sold
Oh,
3
okay,
cows.
I apologize. Yes, Western Union, like Money Wire. Mhm.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
sold 3 cows to send you the money for, and then we lost you.
Oh, sorry. They sent me money to purchase my air ticket. So yeah, so they funded my trip. And my mother's best friend in the US, she donated money for 3 goats. I think it was like 40 United States dollars. And that was the beginning of my project. I was 28 years old. I'm 44 now. And my project has created itself. It just started local people in which on a map, it's about 5, 6, 7 hours south of our capital city called Lusaka. And then 28 years old, and the people sat down me because they said,
Madam,
they call me Heza, like
we can barely hear you. The network is bad. We can barely hear you. You keep coming in and going off intermittently. The network is pretty bad from your end.
No, I was wondering if it was just me who's feeling it. You said capital city of Lusana, and then we lost it again.
Yeah, the network is pretty bad. Yeah, we keep losing you. You keep coming on and going off intermittently.
Suddenly
I would
now
advise
it's
you.
happening. In the beginning, it was very good.
Yeah, I would advise you maybe turn off your
Madam, if
Video.
your video
Yeah.
is turned off, then
Okay.
sometimes the voice will be
Okay.
very
Yeah.
clear.
your video.
Okay.
Then just use the audio
Then
alone.
I will, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so let's try. Is this any better?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay, good. I'll continue unless you tell me again that you can't hear me.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. I forget what I was saying. I was talking about how the
We lost you when you said the capital. We lost you when you said capital Lusana.
Lusaka. Yes.
Lusaka. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So our village is about, let's say, 5 to 7 hours south of Lusaka, and then another 3 to 6 hours, maybe 5 hours from the nearest town. It's a very, very remote area. And the people first got there, they humbled me unintentionally by sitting down with me and saying to me, Heather, they call me Heza, we don't think that you understand, after staying with us for 2 years, why we are suffering. And I said, no, I understand. You don't have enough food. You're suffering, don't have enough, not enough food. But the deeper problem is that we don't have water. Without water, we don't have food. Without sustainable water, we can't do anything above what you're seeing right now. We will never advance past this very, very low level where we are existing. We are barely surviving without water. This was in 2008. Yes. 2009, I established this project with the Zambian government under the Registrar of Societies, the Ministry of Home Affairs. And states government as a 501c3 charitable organization. And in 2012, our first water well was funded through our project, funded by some people in Texas, which is the south of the United States. And to date, we have drilled over 55 water wells in rural Zambia and 115 Sierra Leone. So let me explain briefly about Sierra Leone, because it's very, very far from Zambia. It's a longer journey for us to travel from Zambia to Sierra Leone than it is for us to travel from Sierra Leone back to the States, or Zambia back to the States. The distance is very, very far. I California, in Davis.
Sorry, we can't
Yeah,
hear you.
others, are they able to hear? I mean, I thought, is it only me or?
No, we're not able to listen
Oh, right.
very well.
It's such an interesting insight into.
I will message to
Yes,
Heather.
sir. Yes,
I'll
sir.
message to her in our WhatsApp. Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Please be on.
I just lost the connection, but I'm back now.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Thank
just
you.
messaged to you that now we are
Okay.
not able to hear you. It is happy
Yes.
that you are back.
Good. Yes, that was horrible. Yes. I don't know why.
We lost you when you said, we lost you when you said you would like to tell us about Sierra Leone.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
it's
Thank
quite
you.
far from Zambia.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes, it's very far. It's farther to travel between Zambia and Sierra Leone than it is from Zambia to the United States or Sierra Leone to the United States. I had a friend studying to get her PhD at the University of California in Davis, and she had a small project in Ghana, Trinidad, Tobago, and Sierra Leone. She asked me if on her behalf I could travel to Sierra Leone and help her implement, it was like a camp for orphan children who lost their parents during the Civil War that we had in Sierra Leone from 1990 until 2001. So actually, this was in the year 2007. I apologize. She sent me to Sierra Leone to help facilitate her project, and she paid for the vaccine and my airfare. And the moment I landed in Sierra Leone, I knew that I had to expand our project in Zambia to Sierra Leone to share the resources of the project. It was just a feeling in my stomach that this country was a place that needed our love and our help and our service in any way that we could. And in 2000 and let me say 2009, I met my daughter's father, and I have a child from Sierra Leone now. She's 14 years old. I gave birth to her in 2009, and she is often what keeps me working in Sierra Leone is her, because it's very, very difficult. I would say more than Zambia. I believe Sierra Leone is the country in the world in 2023. I did my own research. That it was the 8th poorest country. And then the Sierra Leoneans were telling Um, we lack very, very basic infrastructure in Sierra Leone. The corruption and the crime projects very, very challenging. And as I said, my connection to Sierra Leone is through family and blood and loyalty and love. In the end, I think that's what keeps us all connected to anything, is loyalty and blood and friendship and love. And I always tell my daughter, I could have given up on Sierra Leone a long time ago if it wasn't for you and your uncle and your grandmother and all of these people that I love. It's sometimes even hard to eat, even if you have money. To buy food, it's just hard to find food. It's hard. But the other side of that, with every challenge, every obstacle, there is some kind of profound joy that comes when a result is achieved. Project has dug that I haven't cried when we finished it. The people cry, we're all hugging. We're all, it's so memorable and fantastic and life-changing to get these water sources. And I always tell my mother, she's on this call, that you can see people from the village. If you're meeting a big group of people from different villages, it's actually visible which people come from a village with water and which people don't have water in their home village, because the ones with water look healthier, their skin has more shine, their eyes are glowing more. They have a general feeling of happiness. It's difficult to use words to express. There's a very memorable difference with people who are living with a water source and people who either do not have a sustainable year-round source, number one. Number two, they are sharing poor quality water with livestock animals such as cows, goats, possibly sheep or pigs, or people who use a water source but have to travel very, very long distances to get the water. Maybe they walk 30, 40 minutes in one direction. They fetch one 20 kg container of water on their head, and maybe they carry 10 liters in each hand of water if they're very strong. And their family will have to use that 40 kg buckets of water, maybe for the next day. If the family has, let's say on average in the village, the children are between, this is just an average, 6 children to 12. So the median between those numbers, let's say, is 8, okay? A family of 8 with a mother and a father, 10 people sharing 40 kgs of water to wash their clothing, to drink, to cook, to clean. That is disgraceful. And as a very privileged American woman who was born and raised in the United States of America, we have an abundance of resources. And each one of us in the United States has almost too much. almost too much, if not way too much. So the idea that there are not just a few people in a village somewhere, but widespread on a very vast continent, countless millions of villages and people living in Africa. The heart of Africa is the village. Surviving in this way is very disturbing and traumatic for me. It does not settle right in my soul. And that is why my soul work in this world is trying to help as many villages and people get nice water as I can. And I always say to my daughter, you shouldn't want anything that everyone else doesn't also have. I don't know if that makes sense. There shouldn't be anything that I want that others can't also have. So the idea that I get to drink clean water every day of my life, if I'm in the States, I turn on a tap. If I'm, in India, I find the drinking water. I have that privilege, and why shouldn't everyone else, you see? So one thing that I cherish about African people, and this seems to be urban African people, rural African people, I found it in the cities, in the towns, and the villages, people are very, very resourceful. They don't waste. They don't waste food. They don't waste water. And what I've learned is that when we have to suffer for water, it's very heavy. It's very heavy to lift water. And putting it on your head is actually a good way to use your body because of the balance of the way, our bodies, our center strength in the core is coming out through our skull. So if you put water on your head, it's actually, for me, it feels good, but it's using the strength of your body in a good way. But it's heavy. It's hard to get the bucket on your head, and it's hard to get it off. And there's something very special about fetching water and carrying water that you don't have with water from a tap. Piped water is very easy to waste. It's almost impossible not to waste it. And when you have a limited amount of water, you fetch it, you bring it in a container, you pour it into a bucket, or we have a big container, we call it a drum, where we put our water. It's easy to see how much you're using. It's easy to see if you're wasting. Sometimes my daughter yells at me. We're still fetching water, even last week when we were in our village. And she said, Mom, gosh, I had to get this water. It looks like you wasted. And I said, oh, no, if I wasted, it was just a cup. But she's very young, and she's already telling me, don't waste this thing. But there's something very, what we consider primitive is somehow also very progressive. And that's what rural Africa has taught me. These are people that even in their own society, maybe because they're not formally educated, many of them cannot write their own names. They are illiterate. People, even in the cities and towns in their own countries, think that they're somehow less, they're uneducated villagers. They're ignorant. They don't know anything. And this couldn't be farther from the truth, simply because when we're not formally educated, it means that another part of our brain is functioning more on a higher vibration, right? So someone just the other day said to me, man has three qualities three treasures he can give to the world: mind, muscle, money. And in the village, we have muscle. We have muscle. We have hardworking people who can do things that I just stare and wonder, watching them thatch the roof of a house, using fibers from a tree to tie the grass to the wood. I watch them lift things that I couldn't even begin to get off the ground. And these are respectable people that in many ways run our societies because they're growing food that we're all eating. And they have the gift of humility. And humility is everything. And I always say that Gandhi can be summarized in one word: humility. And that's what the village is. And so probably 90% of everything I know, I learned in the village. And I am in debt forever to these people for that. And therefore, I am very happy to help them with water and anything else that they need until the day that I die. And it won't be an easy journey, and it has never been easy, but I don't strive for comfort in my life. I strive for my soul to be clean. Should I pause and ask for questions, or should I continue? Tell me what you would like me to do.
Friends, it is left to the participants to decide whether she will continue her lecture or you would like to ask some questions before she proceeds. If you would like, I think Chris has already raised the hand. Chris.
Yes, Prof, thank you. I have
Yes, can we unmute and speak?
listened. Yes, thank you. I've so much listened to Hidia. I am talking, sir. I am talking already. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
can you hear me?
yes. But Chris,
Hello,
also,
can you hear me?
your network is also cut a bit. I can hear you, but the network
Okay,
is a
I'm changing
bit
position a
choppy.
bit.
Good. Do that.
Okay.
Good. It's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hidia, for your stories. And honestly, I am more affiliated because it's happening in my region, Africa. I don't believe there are still people who can love people like this. Your story is a very pathetic one, and it's all about humanity. I am so much happy. I lack words to explain the way I feel. Now, the only thing I want to say is this: before I'm noting things down, my questions and some other positions of mine. I would like you to complete your experience so that we will have more to talk on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, this is very kind. I'm happy. Can you hear me again?
Yes,
I'm hearing
madam,
you.
please continue.
We're hearing you.
Okay. Yes. What I want to do, we can exchange emails. We're going to keep in touch. You complete my experience. Let
Okay.
me complete. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shade.
Where I am right now with my project. So I have been in the village for 20 years because I started in 2004 and it just became 2024. And now I'm 44 and I started when I was 24. So the 20 years have come. I'm working in the way that I've always been doing. We have the rural projects. We have 2 villages now in Zambia. We expanded to 2. I'm working with water wells, adult education for women, literacy if they choose, working with some of this irrigation. We call it water reticulation system, with the tank, with the small like horse pipes watering from a tank. We're working with cattle projects, all of this stuff. But, you know, Gandhi's constructive program is something that Dr. Mishra, I was in the 2017 course. And whenever I presented, certain students and even Dr. Mishra, who is my professor, said to me, "You're doing a very good job with Gandhi's constructive program, with the rural community village industries part of his constructive program. But the other half you're not doing. The other half works with legislation. It works with let's say the Constitution or the law enforcement or the things that are happening that are causing this injustice to remain." In another way, we can say, when you fall and you cut your arm, right? You can put a Band-Aid, or a small cloth on the cut, or you can clean it out. And helping with the water, helping with all of these village industries is necessary. But in many ways, it is like a Band-Aid. You have to clean the wound. And cleaning the wound is where I am now. Even within my own project, we have a few different people that we were working with on our water wells. We gave them contracts, we gave them money. They didn't do the water wells. They stole the money. They, you know Africa, and they don't feel remorse. They feel that this was their right somehow to chew all of these funds, which were for public charity. And I'm dealing with these issues. I'm dealing with the court system in Zambia. I'm dealing with the ACC, which is called the Anti-Corruption Commission, in both Sierra Leone and Zambia. I'm dealing with the Human Rights Commission in Zambia to rectify these issues, because I know that this lawlessness is contributing to the violence in all of these countries. But it's how do you steal a water well from such destitute people? You see, the constitutions of both of these nations where I live are very, very clear. Misappropriation of donor funding, which is part of the anti-corruption acts in both of the constitutions. This is unlawful. And when we allow corruption and we don't report it, then we're part of the corruption. And I'm learning slowly that this, let me say, vertebrae, spine of a strong country is its law enforcement, and is the people, even in the most remote areas, having a general understanding of their rights, the laws, and these things that were originally put in place to protect them. And like I said at the beginning, I didn't plan any of this. I was very happy to just work with water wells and the villages. And then over time, these legal issues have come to me. These are human rights, human justice issues. I have to fight for each and every one of my water wells, which means I have to fight for the people drinking the clean water. And it also means I have to fight for my donors. Let me say 98% of them are in the United States, because when they donate to my project, they trust me. So if I take the money to Africa and one contractor chews all the money on beer and women and buying a big expensive vehicle, then that's also an injustice to the people in the United States who are trying to help this big problem with water in the village. So I'm learning as I go. I'm learning as I go to be patient and to be happy in the midst of chaos. I'm learning to find deep peace within myself, which is what keeps me working very, very sustainably, because my mission is to serve, and in whatever capacity that is, might not be even the way that I want it to be, and maybe not even in the way that I plan it to be. And I have to be very flexible and very open that there is something higher working through me that is greater than myself. So I hope that I answered your question, Chris.
Next, please.
May I go, sir? Or, okay,
Please.
Nico.
Yes, Lydia. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. Thanks very much. I have heard you, and someone answered my question. Like I earlier said, your story is a very motivating kind. Coming from a more developed environment, then to a more underdeveloped or undeveloped environment, and doing this for us, we can't stop thanking you. So many of us who want to, like myself, I want to understudy you, just like you said. After now, we want to understudy you. Life is all about what you've just done, because we don't have the whole time on earth to stay. We need to impact on humanity. We need to help where we are necessary. So thank you very much. You've really made my day. Thanks.
Miss Ruth, would you like to go ahead? I can ask her, talk to later.
Yes, I can. Mine is yes. Mine is maybe greetings to you, Isha. I'm glad to hear from you. My question, I'm from Lesotho, down Southern Africa. Lesotho is surrounded by South Africa. It's a small country inside South Africa. And the issues that you are raising are similar to my context, because my country is even called a mountainous country. So the issue of rurality describe or define my country, most parts of my country. I want to ask about the issue of how do you ensure, what supported you to ensure that as you are engaged in this project, how do you manage people, different personalities? How do you manage issues of violence in as far as people may feel like they need to compete for the resources or for water? Because usually when people see that things are happening, some want to be at the forefront, and you find that along the way, as you are working on the good project, but also conflicts come up, probably because of the element of greediness, the element of selfishness in people. Sometimes they disturb what could be the good project. So how do you manage to even work around people's personalities so that things go well? Thank you.
Ruth, tell me what, your name is Ruth or Nico?
Both names. Nico. Nico is my native name. Ruth is a Christian name. Malepoto is the name. Malepoto is the name that I'm given when I get married. In Africa, you know, when you get married, you are given a name by your husband's family. So my husband's family is Lepoto. So when you are the first daughter-in-law, usually, and your family is the bigger one, usually they would give you a name after their surname. So all my names are there. Malepoto, Lepoto are my names from my marriage family, but Nico, Ruth are my maiden names, are my first names from my original home.
I'm so happy to see all of your names. I love Nico.
Thank you.
Nico, I am so grateful for your question. That's wonderful. Thank you for this. Your point is the best point of all. What you're saying is the most important point, which is in a society where everyone in this remote context, everyone is scrambling for resources. How do you work to share the resources and deal with the violence of people competing for those things, or lying, cheating, or stealing for those things, or to be in the forefront of the project? That's what you're asking me.
Yes.
Right? Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'm so happy you understand. This sounds like a very small thing, but to be honest, this is actually a very huge thing, and I forgot to address it. In the villages in Zambia where I stay, I speak local language. And of course, my level of speaking is not very high. My daughter speaks better than I do. But that thing, speaking the language, has been like a ticket for entry into a certain level of understanding that has taken me 20 years to get a better understanding of the way that certain people have cheated, abused me or the project. We had a very long relationship with a man who I believed, this is a perfect example of what Nico is talking about. I believed he was helping us. He lived close to us. He was someone I trusted. He would recommend remote villages that really needed our help. And a few years back, after trusting him, giving his family Christmas gifts, sharing our food, I discovered from some of these other villages that what he was doing was he would recommend a village to me. If we helped that village with a water well, he would demand that the village give him money for suggesting their community to me. I have stories.
Hello, are you still there?
No, I think, yeah, even I couldn't hear. We lost her audio.
Okay,
I'm sure she'll
maybe
come back.
let's be patient. Let's be patient.
Yes. The network went out. Where did you lose me? Tell me where to start.
Okay, you were telling us. Okay, let me keep quiet now. Yes.
You were saying that
No, I'm
people
just
had
saying
to give money to the village. The villagers had to give money for getting water.
Nico. Yes, exactly. I have a current issue in my project where 3 different contractors in Sierra Leone took money for water wells that they either did not dig or that they did not finish. And a contractor in Zambia who has multiple projects he hasn't finished, but all of the funds for those things he has admitted he has, as we say in Africa, chewed. He chewed the money. He chewed it, he used it on himself. So I would say that this is not a simple thing, and it is not an art that I have mastered yet. But I'm getting better and better and better at safeguarding my project and protecting it almost like a baby. And, a baby, you can let many people hold and share, and everyone loves the baby. But to nurture it, you trust yourself. To feed it, you trust yourself. To wash it, you trust yourself. And for me, that is my project. We cannot afford in any way, monetarily, spiritually, we cannot afford to lose resources for the project. They are precious. So we can't be working with bad people. And we can't be working with people who don't have the best interests of others at heart. what is a very sad thing that I have learned is that even in the villages where we think that there is a community of people who care about each other, sometimes that is the farthest thing from the truth. They don't mind deceiving each other to get something for themselves. And this is what Nico was saying about the greed and the selfishness. Some of the worst greed and selfishness I've ever seen has been in communities, in villages, within family. So, Nico, my answer to you is clear. It's a little bit abstract. I'm working situation by situation, person by person. And to be honest with you, what has helped me as a very, very reliable resource in all of this navigating the village of Africa, navigating the village of Zambia, navigating your villages in Lesotho. My daughter has helped me considerably because she's half African, but more than that, she has a very strong compass for seeing through. She can very easily see someone's deceit. It's almost like a special gift that she has that she's teaching me that I'm learning slowly, because I automatically trust everyone and I automatically love everyone unless they give me a reason not to trust them and not to love them. I start with 100% and go down. My daughter starts with 0 and goes up. And we always talk about how somewhere we will meet in the middle because she doesn't trust anyone automatically and automatically trust everyone. And that has gotten me into the trouble that I'm in right now, working with trying to get back the resources of the project, some of which have been, at this point in time, stolen. Now, if you talk to other people running projects, my best friend in the United States, I've had since I was age 16, and he's still my best friend, and he supports our project. And I told him about some of this loss of resources with the water wells. And what he said to me is, Heather, a little bit of loss for every project is understood. It's he runs businesses. He's a very successful businessman in the United States. And he says, okay, some loss is understandable. And I started laughing. And I said, no. No loss is understandable or acceptable for the work that I'm doing. And that's the difference maybe between a business and a charity, is that I won't allow for any kind of loss. And I was telling him the loss that you're talking about is the village not getting water. That's significant. That is significant. And that's not a loss I can take. So even if from now until the day I die, I fight with the contractor and the anti-corruption commission or whatever it is, these are my mistakes of the past that other people shouldn't have to suffer for. Let me learn from the mistakes and then let me move forward with not making those mistakes again. For example, when we sign the contract with the contractor, the ACC should also sign that contract, meaning that this is just an idea, Nico, that I have, that then that way, if the contractor knows that the Anti-Corruption Commission is also part of his contract, then maybe he won't feel free to steal the water well. As an example, I'm getting wiser, but I've learned all of these lessons in the hard way. Very quickly, I'm sorry for the long answer. When you asked me how you control like all of these people in the village, they're all desperate for water. You have a very good. Our villages in Sierra Leone are very straightforward, meaning everyone lives in one very small space, very small. And they all have their little, like their house and their cooking shelter is all together, okay? Putting a water in a village in Sierra Leone is very easy. There's one centralized area. Sierra Leone is easy for the water. Zambia is very, very difficult for the water. We live in southern province, Zambia, which is a cow herding. Our tribe is the Tongas. They herd cows. And therefore, they stay in very far distances. One house stays 10, 20, 30 minutes from another house. So where do you put a water well that is centrally located that will help the greatest amount of people? And theologically speaking, you can find an aquifer that will accommodate lots of people. Drilling wells is that we drill these wells anywhere from 60 to 80 meters. So if you drill and you get water at 35 meters even, we continue to drill because we want to get at least 60 meters deep to get to that clean, clear, naturally filtered aquifer deep, deep embedded into the earth, right? We have many factors. Community-based factor. Where can we put the well that everyone can share? A scientific factor. Where do we find the aquifer? Where do we look at the stones? We look at the rocks. This is what geology shows the presence of water. Which rocks show an absence of water? And then we look at this basic component of whether or not we could even put a well between multiple villages. We're just trying to help as many people as we can. I have had, since we first started the wells in Zambia, I've had people lie and say that they don't have a well, and they do, but the well broke, and they don't want to tell me. And then I come to their village and I see it, and I speak their language. So in Tonga, in Kambonzi Mwandi Beja, in Kambonzi Mwandi Beja Mebo Danyema. Why did you lie to me? I'm angry at you. Why did you lie to me? And I talk to them and I say, I don't know if I can help you anymore, because you lying means that another community doesn't get water. What happened to this well? And sometimes for a very easy fix, like 65 meter hand pump well, you're looking at how many meters? A 9 meter pipe would be how many meters? Okay, let's say 7, 8 pipes. If one of those pipes has a hole in it, the whole system doesn't work. If your cylindric pump, which is the heart of the well, pumping the water at the base, if that pump is not checked before you put it down, it could be a very easy issue where we didn't check the pump at the bottom. You have to pull all the pipe stems, pull all the pipes out, switch out the cylindric pump, and it works great. So a lot of these wells, because Africa in many ways is like a borehole graveyard, some of these wells can be salvaged. You can fix them. But if the people aren't honest and tell you that they even have a well, then by the time the drill rig is ready to drill, you go to the village and they already have a well. It's too late, and you can't change where the drill rig drills the hole. So we worked with a group from Mississippi State University in the United States, Engineers Without Borders. And for 5 years, we had a contract with them, and they funded many wells. And the professor was a wonderful, very knowledgeable older man. And I saw him take his hat off, throw his hat on the ground, and use the F word at these villagers with this exact issue that you were asking me about, because they lied. He organized the whole well. We got to the site with the drill rig, which is the huge machine that drills the well, and only to find that there was already another well. And this professor, I want to say, is 70 years old or older. And he was so angry, his face turned red. He threw his hat onto the ground and he started shouting the F word. And I started laughing, and his students were there, and they were shocked to see him in that state. But he was really angry because these wells are not cheap. And so I think, Nico, to answer your question, I don't even know if I've answered it. I've just given you examples of the way that we're trying to combat this violence of either stealing resources or fighting, competing to get them. We're trying every situation not to make the same mistakes of the past.
Thank you very much. I'm satisfied. I'm very much satisfied with the answer, because it has answered a lot of questions, and it is also informing us way forward with the initiatives that we might bring out of this fellowship. Because already, as I'm talking, this fellowship of peace and non-violence, it started in October. But already I have a youth-led foundation that I have just started with the university students. And already I can notice some of the tricks of some people around us on how already they can start manipulating the organization, which is founded so that we can try to work around issues of prevention of youth violence and how they can go to the communities to transform conflict in their communities. And the answer that you have given me, the explanations that you are saying, I should be alert and I should be able to move around and become intelligent in ways that I can deal with people peacefully, in case, but assertively at the same time, in case some of the things like that come up. Thank you very much.
Nico, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you're right. You start to see the tricks and manipulations. You train your heart and your mind and your eye to see it. And maybe you'll make some mistakes, but that's okay. You'll just keep learning. And I love what you said, that you have to be assertive. And why? Because you're standing up for the greater good. You're not standing up even for yourself, but yet indirectly you are. But directly you're fighting for the greater good. And that's always worth fighting for, you see? And sometimes I feel so low, like I'm sad or depressed because I hate, these contractors that I've reported were people that I loved. They were my friends, and they deceived me. And when I went to the Anti-Corruption Commission, the ACC in Zambia, I was crying while I was reporting this person because he was my friend. And my daughter, who I keep talking about, but she's she's everything in my life. She said to me, Mom, she even yelled at me, Mom, you are standing up for all of these people that he stole from. Don't let it be personal. Don't let it be personal. Stand up for all of them and stand up for the people who he stole from, even in the United States. Don't cry, be serious, be professional, and think of what you're standing up for. And she's right. And she knows everything. I'm learning from her. But, when you're talking about being assertive, what you're doing is magnificent. And the youth of Africa are very powerful. And if you're committed to working with them, then I think that's amazing. And you'll get my email. Let's exchange our emails. That would be great to work together.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Hita. Thank you. I'm happy.
Hello, good evening, Hitu, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. It is greetings of the day. So I'm really, you have taken me off my feet, I can say, after listening to your story and the journey. So really hats off to you, ma'am. I don't know, I don't have any words to express the challenges that you express now, and how people can be manipulative. So ma'am, in this context, hello Heather ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you. So in this context, I would like to ask you a question. You have been born and raised in United States of America, a place of abundance. And what was that event, or was there some situation that happened that motivated you to spend your life for the progress of the Africans in rural areas? So was there some event? And secondly, did you have any mentor, some father figure who who held your hand when it was a bad time? Because life is full of ups and downs, and I would rather say more downs than ups. So kindly guide us. Thank you.
I laughed. I love what you just said. It's full of more ups than downs. Yes. Thank you for your question. Thank you for your question. I remember being a very small child. Maybe I was 7 or 8 years old, and for some reason I didn't realize that this is going to sound very strange. I was old enough that I remember. So maybe I was 6 years old, maybe I was 7. I thought that I was African. I never even understood that I was an American. I remember thinking that it was very strange that I wasn't, that my skin was white, because I always thought of myself, I thought I was an African. And when I realized I wasn't, it was very strange for me. And I knew my grandparents, my mother's parents, went to Kenya when I was 8 years old, and they sent my older sister and I a postcard that I still have. And there were pictures of giraffes on the postcard, and I still have it. I looked at the postcard and said, I will go to Africa and I will be with Africans. So I can't even explain it. It's just something from my ancient soul that I needed to do this. And I'm very, very privileged because I was born in the United States. I have relationships with Americans who will support this work, and they will support helping as many people as we can, because even if they don't know those people, they know me and they trust me. And I don't want to ever betray their trust. I think I always felt very useless in my own country, and not because I'm, not intelligent or I'm not worthy, nothing like that, but because there's already so many qualified people. I could have been a very good doctor. I could have been a good lawyer. I could have done any job very well. But I always felt like there's already so many qualified doctors, qualified nurses, qualified lawyers, qualified everything, electricians. There's so many people, and everyone is very qualified. It would be better for me to take all of my energy and all of my effort and my passion to a part of the world where they don't have enough doctors or lawyers or people in service. It would be better for me to spread those resources rather than keep them all in one place that already has so much privilege. Does that make sense? Like, somewhere deep inside of me, I always knew I would do this, even though I didn't know how I would do it, because I never really thought that I would be of use in my own country. I thought I would be better used in a part of the world that really needed me. And I believe that all human beings are instruments of the divine, of the Almighty, and we're here to be with the divine, and we're here to be with each other in a divine way. And for me, living in the village and living with nature keeps me going. No matter how much people disappoint me, nature never can. So living in the village is what has sustained me and kept me happy and healthy. And then you asked a very important question: who is my mentor? Yeah. My mentor is my mother. Mm-hmm. She's held my hand. She's helped me. She's talked to me at 3 o'clock in the morning, her time. She sent me packages. She taught me how to raise money in a respectful, nurturing, kind way in the United States. You never want to treat people like, hello, how are you? Please donate. That's not the right way. We're all human. She taught me how to raise funding for my project. She was my mentor. She was my secretary for 18 years until she retired. I love my secretary now, but my mentor is still my mother. And I will never pretend that I could have done this without her. I'll never even pretend. I love your questions. These are the best questions I ever got. There's my mother. There she is.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
She's in
Thank
her
you.
blanket. It's very cold. And Gail, I'd like you to meet Prem. Gail is my mother. And Prem has taken care of me at Gujarat Vidyapeeth every time I've been here.
Thank
wow.
you, Prem.
So sweet. My goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like to see you. We are very happy to see you too. Thank you. Not only that, I would like to say some words. John F. Kennedy and also Mahatma Gandhi informally influenced you as well as with your mother, I think. We all are, after listening to your talk, I am thinking that we all are standing in the gallery or sitting in the gallery and watching all these things like that. You are doing a lot. Congratulations. Because the natural resources are nowadays converted into a commodity. Everything is for profit. Extracting too much. In that place, we have to listen to the advice of Mahatma Gandhi. That you are doing. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Mr. Mohan, what we will get to as a humanity is we will realize one day that the investment is in each other. The business is in each other. The profit is each other. It isn't in the end about money. It was never about money. It's each other. Like human beings are the profit. Human beings are the benefit. And I think somehow we've lost our way a bit, but I don't think it's too late. And I think Mother Earth is Mother Earth is a good mother, and she's trying to keep us back on track with our own value system.
Amazing, man.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I have a quick question. I don't know, do you still have time for a quick question, please?
Please be brief.
Okay,
please.
Okay, briefly. Thank you. My question borders around legislation and accountability. I want to ask, what do you think? I just quickly ran through the political system of Sierra Leone and Zambia, and I realized that these are both democratic countries. So I want to ask, given your experience in these countries, what do you think is a possible factor or reasons why persons in rural communities in both countries have been seemingly abandoned by the government? That's number one. Number two, based on your experience again, is it the case that during elections, political parties or politicians don't come to these communities to campaign? If they do, why haven't the people held them accountable over the years for this seeming abandonment in terms of infrastructure facilities in rural communities? Thank you.
We have another wonderful question. I don't think that I think that Africa is one. And when I'm talking about Zambia or Sierra Leone, I think that most of us in the end, we share many similarities between our African nations. So I don't think what I'm speaking about is limited to Zambia or Sierra Leone. I think it's continental, that these politicians, they go into the villages and make huge promises. And in Zambia, we call our African cloth a chitenge. They give out the chitenge, vote for me, here's a chitenge, And then, of course, once the person gets elected, the people that they forget about the most rapidly are these rural people. And what you were saying is, why aren't the people in the village holding anyone accountable? That's what you're asking me, right?
Yes, exactly. And,
Yes,
and the
thank you.
factors responsible for receiving abandonment, yes.
Yes. So a friend of mine pointed out to me that a lot of the reason that these systems aren't working as effectively as they would be working, say, in the United Kingdom or in France or in the United States is because Zambia got its independence in 1964. So we just celebrated our 50th anniversary. When would that? So 60-year anniversary we just celebrated, right? These democratic systems are fairly new, and especially in the village where you have traditional land, traditional chiefs, traditional ways of life, polygamy or anything like this. These are the places that are going to be slowest to change. And this new democratic idea that we all are important. Democracy is a spiritual idea in the end, that we all are important. We're all equal. We all have rights. We're all important, and no one is better than anyone else. That's a foundation of democracy, which again has its roots in love and in spirit and spirituality. And practicing that for 60 years versus the last however many hundreds or thousands of years, there's been a system with, chiefs are African kings, right? And they all have subjects, and those subjects have very little rights, very few rights. This is a very hard system to change or to even begin to change. And I'm learning a lot about the traditional land laws of both of our countries, specifically Zambia, because of a particular chief selling land that I don't believe is his right to sell. I think that the chief is a custodian of land, not the owner. They're the facilitators of giving destitute people a place to settle. Land should be for settling and for growing food. Subsistence farmers, or even if they have a surplus, they could, sell the extra. But the point is that a lot of these laws, what I'm learning is that they're not even known by some facets of the government. I mean, I've recently been interacting with like deputy ministers that are unaware or even aren't clear on some of these laws. And my daughter is rolling her eyes like they don't even know their laws. But I'm saying to her, no, this is interesting. This is interesting because if they don't know the laws, then it's hard for them to practice them. And the newer systems of democracy and all of these things will take time, because we can intellectualize new systems of reform, but those things being part of our blood and our nature take a lot longer. if something is absorbed in the bloodstream, it's imprinted in the body. If it's just a part of your brain that you're learning because you have to, that's something very different. And so I believe I'm trying not to get easily frustrated by, for lack of a better term, the lawlessness of rural Africa. I'm trying not to get frustrated, and instead I'm trying to understand why it is the way that it is and why people in the villages do not stand up for themselves the way that they should. They will never confront a chief. They will rarely confront the headman, even when the person is not following order. And for me, this goes back to 1500s Europe, King Henry. You know, these are old systems that were overthrown long ago in the West. So I don't know why we are still using them in Africa, but I'm trying to get a better understanding of how there could be a way to use new systems of laws and democracy while still maintaining the beauty and the purpose of traditional culture, you know. And I think that the lack of accountability is just because, in many ways too, and I'm sorry, this is a long answer, because in the village, many people can't read. How can they learn laws? How can they read constitutions? And you know, I'm working with that too. I'm thinking to myself, how can I help with that? How could I help with that? Please tell me if I've answered your question or if I've made it more, maybe I made more questions come. I don't know.
No, you have. Thank you for the response. I appreciate your response, please.
Thank you, Heather. You have assembled your personal experiences, the political questions, the economic problems together, and it's wonderful response from your side, and hope that the participants would have enlightened by your ideas, thoughts, and your experiences too. Heather is here in India right now in Gujarat Vidyapith. Her email and the mobile number, with the permission of Heather, we will post in this group. So if you have any personal question about her experiences in the field work, you can contact with her and discuss more. So is it okay, CB? Hello.
We will ask Professor John Challadure to conclude this session. Professor
Please,
John.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Dr. CB, please share my email and my phone number with all of the participants, and very specifically Nico and Mr. Chris and Mr. Is it Iogu, who asked me wonderful questions that I feel like I didn't really get to fully answer, and also Miss, is it SKP?
Yes.
I would like to be in touch, especially with Mr. Iogu, because I didn't really answer his question thoroughly. So please, I'm available, and I'm anyone who writes me an email, I always will write them back. I like to communicate.
Professor John.
Okay. Greetings to all of you. It was a treat to listen to Heather. She spoke from her heart. It is her very personal, direct social reconstruction experience that she shared. And I wish we had more time to explore her many facets of experience that she has gained all these years. when Gandhi was at his prime time, he was too enthusiastic to launch Satyagraha, and he invited people. And in 1920-21, he saw people waging Satyagraha by all means they understood, and ended up committing violence. And he said that I made a Himalayan miscalculation by inviting people to wage Satyagraha even before I taught them what it is in practice. This is part of everyone's experience who actually try to make life better, because it is a search for truth. And in the truth, we make partners, and when we make partners, it is not sufficient we alone have the vision, we alone have the commitment. Everyone in the partnership, in the stakeholder circle, own that vision and the zeal. That is what Gandhi understood, and that is what Heather understood. It was a very, very important learning, and thank you very much for sharing. While saying that, it is also important. Corruption is a transitional problem that Heather too stated it. That is evident in all the countries that move from autocracy or feudal patriarchal society to democratic society. Democracy to survive, it requires a uniform enlightenment of all the people. If few people are wise and others are yet to be sufficiently informed, then this is what happens, corruption. She narrated from her own Zambia and Sierra Leone context, but this is the same story in every developing country, whether it is Africa, Asia, or Central America. This is the case, and we need to come out. What we need to do is building our team itself is part of the Satyagraha, and that is why Gandhi believed in having ashram. That ashram was the nurturing ground for the Satyagrahis who go. And we cannot afford to have ashram. We don't require to have also. What we require is a constant nurturing our teammates. That is a very, very important and good contribution to society. I mean, our team is an instrument. Preparing the instrument itself is a contribution to society. That is a part of the game we need to learn. That is what we got from Heather, and the way she built up from her elementary understanding, orientation, and trying to understand people and their suffering, their needs and priorities were sterling experiences. In fact, in the journey of seeking truth, her experience is a unique feature, and that is a good insight for all of us who aspire to contribute for the betterment of society. Thank you very much, Heather, and I also greet Gail for having joined us in spite of her disposition, and I also greet all the friends who enthusiastically participated, interacted, tried to bring the better of Heather through their insightful questions. I would like to have such programs every now and then. I'm happy and thankful to Dr. Sibi for arranging the whole thing in a wonderful way. Looking forward to meet all of you once again in the sessions that follows. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. John. It was a great experience. We have to thank, as it was rightly pointed out by Professor John, we have to thank Gail. She was the mentor for our keynote speaker, Heather C. Cumming. And we are grateful to all of you. And it was the fellows who made this session so lovely. Thank you all. Chris, you want to say something?
Thank you, Prof. Yes, I want to start quickly. Yes. Prof, I want to say that Hida's experience has covered the course module for this fellowship program, starting from the truth, the conflict management, and every other sector of the module of this fellowship program. In fact, I want to thank the organizers of the fellowship program for inviting her. She has given us a practical experience and part of this fellowship program. Thank you very much for this intention to invite her. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for arranging this wonderful meeting.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.